Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday once again. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. For the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials, go there, join the militia. We are back. We skipped last week because of the inevitable, and thought they could pull this one off last night or yesterday afternoon, but we were wrong. And I mean, you know, I guess the only real thing I really have to say about that game yesterday was it was more of the same. All of the bad things they do when they lose games, they did except for the free throws. And they did a tremendous job on their free throws.
I mean, yes, I agree with you. But if you look at the box score,
everything was pretty close. And
considering it's Pittsburgh, right? I mean,
but subpar team. So
10 turnovers, yeah. But we only had 10 turnovers. Pittsburgh won in rebounds, but 16 to 17 from the free throw line. So when you read this, especially considering that it was Pittsburgh and it was at home, you would assume that Syracuse had won this game. And we didn't because we played trash defense. We gave them way too many easy buckets. So we let a Pittsburgh team shoot 45% on us. So
yeah, and a Pittsburgh team that's been struggling. Obviously, Pittsburgh had more to play for than we did, and that being the fact that they got into the ACC tournament with that win. So,
yeah, they needed that win to get in the ACC tournament.
Right,
yep.
And I mean, it's just you don't want to be the team that lets the team, you know what I mean? Like it's Pitt, bro. Okay, so it's a little personal, I guess is what I'm saying. And you know, there were some sequences at the end of this game in overtime where I saw lazy defense, waiting for other players to make the move. And I don't think that there was enough effort a lot of times on defense. I saw Tyler Betsy hitting the floor. That was appreciated. But some of these guys that think they're just too good for it stand around and kind of wait for other people to make a move so they can maybe cherry pick a pass or something like that and make a game-winning play.
Right.
That's just you're not going to win games like that. It's kind of what we've seen a little bit throughout last year, the whole year. And like you said, the box score is kind of tight. I mean, points in the paint were probably, there was 10 point difference. I think it was 36-26. But there was a point in time where Syracuse was not trying to penetrate, and they were just settling for outside shots. And it was, there was a drought. Rebounding ended up tightening up, but Pitt was offensively. How many offensive rebounds did Pitt have?
11.
How many?
They had 11.
Pitt had 11?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought they had more than that. Yeah. Okay. So, statistically, like on paper, it tightened up, but look at the score.
Right.
To your point and my point, it was, they shouldn't have been able to score that much. And we should have, I figured with the foul shots we were hitting that we would have been good. It's not like they were taking a bunch of threes and getting one over on us. They had only 3 more foul shots than us, and they hit at 65%, and we hit at 94%. So, none of that really hurt. There was just a lot of lazy play, man. Like these kids, that just doesn't look like they're playing for anything, bro, other than themselves when they are out there and they're giving the effort. And that's not all of them, man. It's not.
It's not.
Nate King's, I don't want to name names, man. I'm tired of doing that.
Yeah. Dude, I guess this is,
Nate Kings did a good job. I feel like he's the most unselfish player on the team besides William Kyle to some extent, but it's like a different position. So it's apples and oranges.
Yeah. No, Nate Kings, to me, like I told you, with the way that he plays in his game and his inside and out and everything like that, he to me should be our number one scoring option. And Nate George, he had a good game. He shot well, but he probably took a few too many threes for my liking. Again, JJ Starling 0 for 7.
Yeah, JJ's just fallen off the radar, bro. I don't know what's up with that.
And I mean, we do have to throw in the fact, right, that with Sadiq White and Kyan Anthony being out, that kind of
bench was thin. Yeah,
bench was thin. So I mean, there are things, but realistically,
it should have been able to handle Pitt.
Right. Let me ask you a question: if you could use one word to describe this team this year,
disappointing. I mean, I don't know. I have probably 5 words. If I could put them all together, that would be a statement. But yeah. I mean, disappointing. We never put expectations on this team, but we saw early, like, wow, this team by the end of the year, I feel like they could be a force. If they learn how to play together, and just it's the selfish. Selfish is another word. Disappointing and selfish.
Okay.
I mean, that's 2 words that come to my mind first.
Okay. Mine would be inconsistent.
Yeah, well, that's a good word.
Because it's just you never know who you're going to get. I think I would go a little bit with selfish too, because again, the lack of effort, the lack of getting, and you see it. You see little glimpses of it. I saw a couple times yesterday where Nate Kings was out there trying to motivate somebody after a foul, and they're sitting there trying to communicate, and it looks like they're playing for each other. And then all of a sudden something happens. I don't know what it is, but then it's just like everything changes. JJ Starling can score 18 or he can score 0. Nate Kings can score 25 or he can score 6. Nate George can have 10, 11 assists, or he could have 6 turnovers. William Kyle, again, 6 points. He started out hot. He had 4 blocks on defense. He's got that going for him. But only 2 rebounds. Obviously, the size down there, him only being, he can jump, but being 6'9", obviously it doesn't help as far as rebounds are concerned. But yeah, I mean, last game he had 1 rebound. This game he has 2 rebounds. Like, there's no reason why you should have a center playing 30-plus minutes and in 2 games only get 3 rebounds. And it's hard sometimes when you look at the box score. When you watch Donnie Freeman play, it can be frustrating. And it's like, so a lot of times, what are you doing? He's missing defensive assignments. He gets doubled, and he turns the ball over.
Bro, it's like he doesn't even want to play defense, dude. He's out there to play offense.
Right, but then you look at the box score, and again, he shot a lot, but 18 points and 13 rebounds. I mean, he's leading the team in rebounds, but he's also leading the team in shots, and I mean, probably second behind Nate George as far as his turnovers are concerned. So it's tough when you sit here and you try to judge a game by a box score versus what you see with your own eyeballs. And again, looking at this box score, looking at the stats, you would have thought that they would have handled Pittsburgh. And instead, when you watch it with your eyeballs, we made it too easy for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the rivalry's over. Maybe we just shook hands and said, "Hey,
man, we're gonna let you in."
Yeah. Maybe Autry and Capel are like, screw it, we're both gone after this year anyway, so I'll let you get in.
Yeah.
I know that's not what had happened, but you know what I mean.
I hope people could pick up on the sarcasm. We don't have to add a disclaimer to that.
Sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of things you need to add disclaimers nowadays. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see, and like I said, it's the inconsistency. Just looks like they can play defense 1 minute, then it looks like they can't the next minute. One game we can shoot threes, next minute we can't. Next game we can shoot free throws, next game we can't. We shot 94% from the free throw line. What would our record be if we shot that all year? Which obviously is unrealistic, but you get what I'm saying. It's just, I think your words are good. I think obviously, like you said, there's probably about 5 words you can throw all together that made this this pile of shit this year. But
that's mean.
But to me, it's
you had one inconsistent, frustrating, selfish, disappointing. Yeah, those are all really good words to describe what the hell happened this year.
Yeah.
So Syracuse has found a chancellor.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So what do they got to do to change it next year?
So, this guy's going to get the shot to go ahead and make the necessary changes to bring Syracuse back to the status quo of what we all expect. And status quo right now, status quo is never great, but status quo right now would be excellent. So, J. Michael Haney, he's an American academic and the 13th chancellor of the president of Syracuse University, effective July 1st, 2026. He's been, so look, I hate this. I'm just going to tell you right now. Obviously, this guy's got something to prove, and I hope he does, and I hope this is going to be the guy that brings back the golden age, the golden era of Syracuse sports, right?
And what we grew up watching. Yeah.
Well, right. But he's been a faculty member at Syracuse since 2006 and has held various leadership roles, including vice chancellor for strategic initiatives and innovation. You can go ahead and look him up, J. Michael Haney, Haynie. He, he's been around long enough to where I think, it's too long. Okay, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the next coach looks like or the next athletic director looks like, but this is the guy that's going to be in charge of that. So, he's been around the university for 20 years, and he is at least has, if you want to look at the positives of that, I guess, he's familiar with how things are around there. He knows how disappointed he's lived through the 10 years of John Wildhack and, all of that and the disappointment from the fans and things like that. So anyways, he is not a grad. However, he's just worked there. Okay.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, you can look him up. There's a bunch out there on him, and he's got contribution and achievements and his education and things like that. So there's no there's no insights other than his philosophy, what he wants to bring, and I assume they're going to have some kind of press conference or something at some point.
If they already have it.
True, because they're not going to wait till July anyway. I mean, you would think maybe they will maybe this week or something like that. But obviously they're very close. They're thinking Tuesday to announce an athletic director, right?
That's what I read.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's going to be something, and I guess we'll get to know them a little bit better. But that's that. So
I just hope that, again, because I know we talked about it and not really about blowing the whole thing up, and
this isn't doing that. This is not doing that.
No, it's definitely not, and that's my whole point. So I wanted him to go outside Syracuse, somebody with a different vision that can come in and actually see what's going wrong with the athletic department, because we do have to put into perspective of the fact that this guy is a chancellor. He's in charge of way more than just athletics, right? But he is in charge of hiring the next athletic director. So with that being said, I just hope that he has been around long enough. Like you said, there's some positives in being around long enough, but if you're not learning anything from what's going wrong and why we are the way that we are, I hope that's the reason why he got hired. I hope that he can see what has gone wrong, and he is going to put the proper things and prioritize the right things to make us relevant again. But again, that's a majority of that is going to come on the next athletic director, right?
Yeah. So we will obviously be on pins and needles waiting for that announcement, and obviously beyond that, a 99% sure a new basketball coach. Right at this point. By the way, yesterday's press conference talk about status quo was just more of the same platitudes that we've heard from Coach Autry in the last few games, and he talked a little bit about the standard, and it was kind of a word salad, man. I'm not sure if he was really ready for the question, but he should have been able to articulate this thing a little bit better. And what I got out of it was, and I mean, I was going to record it, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to bore everybody with it. I can sum it up pretty quick.
Right.
The Syracuse standard is not what it was when he was a kid or when he played, and it's because of the way the game has changed. Well, there's truth to that, but all of the teams that were really good put it this way. Some people adapted way faster than Syracuse did.
That's fair.
And we talked about the mistakes made, and there's no need to beat a dead horse. But this didn't have to be this way. And the standard shouldn't change based on the evolution of a sport. The standard is the standard, and therefore always the goal of any organization, regardless of how the circumstances or the environments change, it's about being able to acclimate to change. This isn't a stagnant thing. It's the NCAA. There's been plenty of changes, although after with having to go through COVID and then having to deal with this NIL stuff and the transfer rules changing, like that was a lot of change at once. But there's plenty of teams out there that got their crap together and took all these changes in stride and have done a fantastic job with it. And then there's Syracuse. So
it's not just Syracuse.
It's but that's the only team I care about.
Right.
I know it.
Fair.
I know it's not. I know it's not just Syracuse, but they failed. They failed and to keep up with the times and get in the mud and all of the things that it takes to be competitive. And also, they just don't. Just the money's not there. The outside money's not there. You got this. $20.5 million you got this $20.5 million you got to try to divvy up somewhat fairly between, your three major sports and four, I guess, if you include women's basketball. Joe's smiling. I don't mean to forget. I'm just the big three. But when I was growing up, like women's, I don't know if I ever watched a second of women's basketball growing up, man. It was the big three. It was basketball, football, and lacrosse.
Right.
But anyway, between those four sports, I mean, you got to split Trump somehow to try to divvy up $20.5 million. And your football team's got. I mean, how many players are on the football team? 83. 85. Okay.
I think it might be more than that now.
Well, yeah, and I mean, no, obviously not everybody's going to be getting money, but you have way more people and way more like special, like obviously different positions than you do in basketball. I mean, you got 15 guys on a basketball team. So, the funds are going to be more for football. I think Syracuse spent out of that $20.5 million, I think it was like 13 something on football.
Right.
And three and a half on basketball.
Right. But that's kind of what I was going to bring up. I mean, obviously you can question the fact of whether or not you should be spending, how much NIL money you should be spending on sports that don't bring in revenue, right? You can question that. But at the end of the day, when the rules changed, then it turned into, and I'm not going to sit here and just say that it's always been fair, but with NIL and with the transfer portal rule, we have resources, high academic standards, the weather, just a bunch of stuff that just kind of is just working against us, right? And that's kind of the issue here. Why would someone come move up into snow and have to go take more difficult classes, or maybe the standard for being eligible is higher, and get paid less, right? I mean, that's really where we're getting at. I mean, if it were to ever get to a point, I mean, if Coastal Carolina had a donor that could dole out money like Mark Cuban in Indiana, then they would be a powerhouse next year. You know, who wouldn't want to go to a state school on the beach in North Carolina and get paid more, right? So that's gone are the days where, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a blanket statement for everybody, but gone are the days where players are looking in high school at, well, who's going to be my coach, and what, like we were a prestigious school, like to wear that orange S. Players, they grew up watching the Big East and watching Syracuse and Jim Boeheim and us be successful. So back then, when we didn't have these rules, there was something to look forward to. There was a reason why kids were going to this school. And when the rules changed, the reasons kind of left. The reasons why kids go to school they basically changed.
Oh, it's no longer for an education.
And again, that's not a blanket statement for everybody, but yes,
overwhelmingly in the landscape of college athletics, the people you see on the court aren't all going to get a pro spot. So right. I'm sure there's those that are trying to obviously better themselves by getting a degree. However, some of them are getting paid enough to where they just might be like, well, I'm just going to invest after I get out of school, and a degree doesn't mean anything to me because I don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the dynamic and everything has just been flipped on its head. And,
right.
And
it doesn't favor us.
No, it doesn't favor us. Not at all. Not even close. And it comes down to Syracuse being a small private. I mean, it's not a small private school, but like compared to the Dukes and North Carolinas and things like that, like the fan base and the donors and things like that, it's small. Mm-hmm. And right. There's plenty of money in Syracuse, but there's just a lot more money involved in some of these other schools that have been the blue blood schools for forever, right?
And a lot of times private schools really don't prioritize number one, just athletics, right? Because they got to prioritize academics and keeping other standards up and things of that nature. So, yeah, I mean, overall, we've kind of beaten this to death, but, it doesn't take away from the fact that we still finished 14th. In the ACC, and like our NIL money and our team and our roster was better than that. So this isn't to poo-poo on Adrian Autry and kind of give him an out, but he just seems to me like he's in the same category, not as a head coach, right? But of like all these older guys that want to coach a certain way and are used to coaching a certain way, and they might be too set in their ways to be able to catch up and kind of coach these kids in, roster development, making up the roster, things of that nature.
Well, okay. Well, we might as well, again, we've already said it all. So, not to bore anybody. And, that I don't even know what we ended up with on fan feedback yesterday or anything like that. In regards to the game, I looked at one point and it was like, there was like 4. I mean, it's just either the way this thing works when you don't constantly post stuff, or it's just it's the way it works when they suck. So
yeah, I mean it's that's really what it is.
I know.
You can compare the fan feedback responses to essentially the attendance at the games.
Yeah, right? I mean,
the attendance yesterday was putrid. The whole year, really.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the worst attendance seasons in quite some time.
Oh, it was just, yeah, it was. I mean, I'd love to know when the last time was. They bragged about having 27,000 or 28,000 in the dome one day. I mean,
which that's a good.
It is, but again, the standard is not. We don't celebrate things that aren't the standard, like what we're used to. Think about this. Think about this. I got a 7. Well, let's use my son. He's a little bit older, but I got a. It was 4. He was 14 years old the last time Syracuse made a tournament. Think about being 14 and how much different it was back then with just the standard, right? And it was a struggle. Like, it was been 5 years since we made the tournament, but it was a struggle making the tournament for a few years before that. Mm-hmm. So, it's too bad. Well, hopefully this can get fixed. But the ACC tournament starts Tuesday. Syracuse be a 14 seed, 15, 16 overall, 6 and 12 in the ACC. They're going to face SMU. If they want to shock the world, and like literally shock the world, they must win 5 games in 5 days to take this tournament home. Which, if they do, don't ever buy a lottery ticket again, because you're wasting your money. Because there's no way you're going to get that lucky ever again. So,
right. Here, let's just before we hit this, because I
hear you banging on your keyboard. Can you do that any louder? Can you?
I could.
Can you do it any louder? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, just so essentially 28 seasons since 1980, we have led attendance. So there's that. But when we want to go back and look, our national rank in 2019, 2020 was first. And then obviously we ran into some COVID-19 stuff and things of that nature. The last 3 seasons have kind of gone down tremendously. 2023, 2024, our average attendance is 20,000. We were 5th nationally. 24, 25 last year, average attendance was 18,888. We were 5th nationally. And this year, our average attendance is 17,700, which is 6th nationally.
I mean, see, people say, well, it's still 6th nationally. That's really good. I just got to disagree. It's just not that's not where we normally are. And so therefore I'm going off of the past.
Yeah.
Because
88-89 season, when they had Derek Coleman and all those guys. You know what the average home attendance was? 29,900.
I was going to probably say around 26 or 27, but because 29,000 is a lot. It was years for
average.
For average, yeah. No, not for average. But you got to think though, like I remember the first 30,000 attendance. I feel like maybe not. What was one of the first records that broke when we were probably, I don't know, it's probably high school. It was against Georgetown. I was at the game. I can't remember what it was, but it was an attendance record. Anyway, it was like it was like low 30s, dude.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So even then, you're talking 1980s, early 80s. I'm talking late 90s.
Well, I was talking late 80s, but yeah.
Okay, mid to late 80s. I'm talking late 90s. We're looking at pulling around the same numbers, if not a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. So. And that was the golden era. I mean, the late 80s was the golden era of Syracuse basketball. We had some great teams, obviously 2003 and things like that. And we had some good teams in the 90s too, some really good teams. Went to the national championship in the 90s. So some great teams. But that for me was the golden era of Syracuse basketball, because that's when I remember becoming a fan.
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot of nostalgia there. And there was, the tradition was, you show up and make noise. That was the tradition, and it held for a very long time. But, as we see things, there was a question we used to talk about back in the day. What comes first, wins or asses in the seats? It's always wins. It's always wins.
Whether that's the right answer or not.
Yeah, I mean, but look, you're going to influence more people with wins than you are with losses, and people just aren't going to show up. I mean, it's plain and simple.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did beat SMU earlier this year, and I just went back and looked to refresh my memory, and 37% from 3, 45% from the floor, and 78% from the free throw line, and just played a really good game, honestly, and won by 1. And SMU is good, but I mean, with what we've got and the talent that we have, I think that this is a winnable game. I think that, like Joe said, if they could channel their inner early season, they might be able to pull this game off. I don't understand what they practice in practice. What do they work on in practice? Because the ball movement still, I mean, coach comes out, tells them they need to be tougher, and there were some tough moments in that game yesterday for Syracuse, but the coach comes out and basically calls them out for not being tough enough. And we talk about ball movement constantly, and then we still don't see it. And then there was a great sequence from Syracuse yesterday on some excellent ball movement, inside out ball movement, and you end up getting a 3 on it, a clear 3, and I think it was Tyler Betsy, and all of a sudden they're making a comeback. I mean, the momentum shift there is crazy, but it comes down to like the fundamentals of just, being able to execute. And what they did against SMU last time is they controlled the pace of that game. SMU likes to kind of like play fast, and they try to speed up the tempo, and Syracuse does pretty good with that. But they kind of controlled the pace a little bit. I mean, SMU averages like 86 points a game, which is a lot. So they were able to keep them below 80. I would say if they can keep them somewhere between 70 and 75, then Syracuse is going to be in good shape for this game. But if they let them start scoring, then that's where it's going to be a problem. I think this game is Tuesday at 8:30 or 4:30. Is that right?
4:30. Yep.
Okay. They're just going to have to play as a team. And I really hope that these kids don't want this season over as much as it looks like Coach Autry does, because many of the fans, I mean, honestly, last night, I just wish that was it.
Right.
I just was wishing that was going to be it for us, because, I'm tired of the disappointment and, always coming in with a positive attitude, because you know what? Any given day, right? And and you just hope, and you're playing Pitt. You're hoping, you know what? Get some momentum before you go into this ACC tournament. Come out with a win against Pitt and send them back home with nothing. Instead, they send them back home with an ACC tournament bid.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I don't really 86.5 points, by the way. That's near the top of the ACC, and I don't know who's above them, but. And like I said, they're aggressive and their ball movement's good, and that's what allows them to shoot the way they shoot too. Yeah. SMU.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is honestly, we know where this has been. This is as negative as I've been about a team in a long time, and honestly, I've been kind of on the train all year of, the ACC's a good conference. They're tougher now, so it's making it more difficult for us. But I mean, I'm basically just an ACC fan at this point. Like, yes, am I going to watch for Syracuse? Yes, but I'm more or less looking to see how many teams can the ACC conference get in the tournament. So at least it makes us, our conference look a little bit better, right?
Right, which is
that can help us.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I agree.
And there's really just a lot of storyline. I mean, SMU, that one's going to be tough. Obviously, the first game, Stanford at Pitt at 2 p.m. Stanford is on the bubble. They just went to NC State and beat NC State, so they should be able to handle that game unless Pitt plays a miraculous game, because we handed them an invitation and now they're like,
watch them go win it.
Yeah, well, but If Stanford wins, then they get to go and they get to play NC State the next day, in which they just beat at NC State. So obviously there's some implications there. NC State's, they're falling. They've lost a couple of bad games as of late. Right now, Bracketology's got him ranked or seeded 10th. So if they turn around and they lose to Stanford again, they might just play their way out of the tournament while Stanford plays their way in. But SMU is also right now in Bracketology, they're in the last 4 in. So SMU absolutely needs to beat Syracuse to have a chance to make the tournament. Otherwise, we beat them, then we basically knock SMU out of the NCAA tournament. I'll tell you that right now. But it's hard to believe. And plus, SMU just lost to Florida State yesterday, so they're going to be motivated. But the winner plays Louisville, and it's going to be that's going to be tough regardless, right? So there's just a lot of teams that are on the bubble. Virginia Tech's on the bubble. Cal's on the bubble. It's just going to be interesting to see some of these teams and see if they can play their way in the tournament, and hopefully some other teams don't play their way out. But
you said they're looking at being the last four in right now, and so they probably they've got to beat Syracuse and possibly keep going at least for a little bit, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if they beat Syracuse, it's probably not going to be a situation where they're automatically going to be in.
Right.
They're probably going to have to look at Louisville. If they were to turn around and beat Louisville the next day, then that would probably put them firmly in. But
do you know what their net ranking is? I mean, I'm looking at it, which is I just want to put something into perspective because I don't know what the net ranking is.
38th. Who's that? SMU?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's where it's kind of where you got to be.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, SMU, if they don't make the tournament, it's kind of on themselves because of some of these late season losses. I mean, they lost to us, they lost to Florida State. They could easily be looking back just like us and saying, "Oh man, if we only beat Syracuse," right? Same thing with California. California's on the bubble, and they lost to us, right? So I don't know, but it's going to be a little bit manageable. Clemson doesn't look as strong as they were earlier in the season. Neither does NC State. Virginia still looks strong. Miami looks really strong. Duke.
Oh, never mind.
What?
I was thinking Virginia lacrosse yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duke actually, they beat North Carolina last night, but
I mean, yeah.
But they also lost. Well, I don't want to say lost, but they had a couple guys get injured, and they don't know the severity of the injuries. And they are starters, so it's interesting to see. And North Carolina, I guess Caleb Wilson
got surgery.
Well, I guess someone had told me that. I guess he hurt his non-shooting hand, and he was like working towards playing. And then in practice, he actually broke his thumb on his shooting hand. It was a separate injury.
Yeah, dunking.
And then he ended up
trying to dunk in practice.
Yeah. And so he's got surgery, and he's not going to be playing the rest of the year. So that's going to hurt North Carolina's chances to go far in the tournament. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. I think there are some opportunities for some upsets in this ACC tournament. Do I think that they're going to come from Syracuse? Most likely not. But
I guess. Let me look at something here.
Oh man, there's a couple of good fan feedbacks.
Is there? I mean, I don't know. It's probably too late for that.
Well,
because we're gonna go backwards in our conversation.
No, I mean, it's
go ahead if you think they're that good. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, top fan Andy, our boy Andy,
okay,
who only watches football. Oof. Lordy. He's always blunt with his opinions. So,
yeah.
He says, Syracuse basketball deserves this. Boeheim's last few seasons were dreadful. Instead of going and getting a young coach outside of the program, they decided to keep it safe and go with Red, who lacked anything creative or new for 3 years. Hopefully they get it right this time and finally move on from anything Boeheim, with all due respect to him, because he was one of the greatest ever.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we've been preaching, I mean, I think they need to, like, when we say blow it up, we meant blow it up. Like,
right.
Get people in here, Chancellor, AD, everybody included, that have a different perspective on life other than being in Syracuse.
Yeah. Or they have a different vision from another school.
A vision, right? Something. Like, what's the vision? What's it like? I feel like Fran Brown has made a vision clear. Like, what's Red's vision the past 3 years? His best year was the first year, and we got holdovers from Boeheim era.
Right.
So,
yeah. The holdovers, even the last couple seasons from Boeheim's era wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. Because he refused to do some things that he needed to do as well to be able to be competitive. And
him and the athletic director too, right? Like,
right.
That's...
Well, I'm not even talking about NIL. I'm just talking about, like, this marriage to the 2-3 zone that he just could not let go of it. And obviously the game it turned into something totally different. And just letting people just throw up threes constantly. And how many times in Jim Boeheim's last few years did we just get destroyed by the 3-point shot?
Oh yeah.
So, there's I think, as legendary as Jim Boeheim is, there was a little stubbornness there too. And I want to see something different, man. That's where I'm at.
No, I get it. And then, it's easy to kind of, and you never know if this is really what happened, but for the longest time, it was status quo, right? Like athletic directors and chancellors didn't have to worry about Boeheim and how he ran his show, right? They had a vision. It worked. We were successful, and we were all spoiled as a fan base. And now it just seems like as things have been changing, and, the 2-3 zone isn't as effective as far as playing it all the time because of the evolution of the 3-point shot and how many players shoot it. But also with the NIL and the transfers and the way that you can coach these kids now, because I just, again, Red alluded to toughness. I think there's a percentage of kids that you can't be tough with nowadays. That back in the day, it was pretty much,
no.
Do
you played Pop Warner football? Do you remember, you remember how kind of nasty your coaches were? Like, I remember coaches grabbing your freaking face mask. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Grabbing your face mask and slapping you on the helmet and yelling at you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was 10, 12, 13 years old. I mean, you can't even do that to 18, 19, 20-year-olds now.
No. Dude, my head coaches, if I wasn't practicing up the standard, they'd, instead of calling me Joe, they'd call me Jolene. And I mean, you can't do that nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. It made kids tougher, man. I mean, plain and simple.
It did, and now you got to kind of cater and acclimate to different characters. You got to be so
careful what you say, and if you say something wrong or something, you just point something out, then you're some kind of, who knows, whatever ism is out there that someone wants to label you as. So yeah, I mean, I think that Jim Boeheim had some of that old school though, and I feel like that might have been a problem a little bit of what he was dealing with too.
Well, yeah, and I think that was with the turn, right? I think again, it's a perfect. What Andy said was kind of perfect. Like, not only did Wild Hack and all, like, we kind of were late to catch the bus on the NIL and changing and everything like that, but also just the kids changed, the way you could coach changed, the way you had to recruit changed, and we were so stuck in this Jim Boeheim's got it mode. Everything's working. So when it happened, it was like it's hard to just flip the switch and go away from it. You can't just turn around and fire a coach that's been there and been so successful for so many years. But I just don't think that we were prepared for it as an overall university, that we're still trying to figure it out. And I just don't know if hiring old heads and other people that have been part of this school and have been, this new chancellor, he's been here since 2006. So he's been part of that. So again, I pray and hope that he understands and sees a vision and sees where we've gone wrong and has a good idea. But at the end of the day, that's really what it was. We weren't prepared for this change in the landscape of college sports, and we're still trying to catch up, and we might not ever.
I don't think that you catch up at this point without some serious donorship, and like I said, they ran their best one off, and that's unfortunate. And we talked at the time about the issues that gentleman had and all that, but his money was nice, especially to do it right at the worst time. This dude's trying to give you money, and you're like, you know what? No, we're too good for that. We're too good. So, okay, well, look, they played Tuesday. If they win, they face Louisville, and, it's going to be, that's extremely difficult. So it's not a good situation for Syracuse. We'll go ahead and lick our wounds and move on to next season. I do hope they get a chance to play Louisville. I mean, I don't want them to, and that game would be on Wednesday at 2:30.
Of course not, dude. This is all like this is nostalgic, like for me all the time. You remember, the day games, the conference games where you'd have teachers turn the stuff on.
Oh yeah. And
that's the thing. It's like with March Madness, I always I've been loving this past weekend and watching, the smaller conferences play their way into, the NCAA tournaments. I always like cheering for the Cinderella. It's always around, my birthday. And
by the way, it's Joe's birthday today. Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So it's always just nostalgic. And it's like, if they win, they play the next day. If they win, they play the next day. If they win, they play the next day. And I just wish that I had a little bit more hope in the fact that we could make a run. And the worst part about it is that like we drew really, really, it was really bad as far as the teams that we drew on the side of the bracket, considering not to say that you want to play a Duke, but I mean, if Duke's injuries are bad to where the two guys that got injured can't play, then it's a different kind of Duke team. Obviously, North Carolina, different team without Caleb Wilson, and they're on the other side of the bracket. Meanwhile, Virginia and Miami, who are real hot right now, are on our side. So, I mean, even if you turn around and you beat a Louisville, then you got a Miami, who might be the hottest team in the damn ACC other than Duke. So, it's unfortunate. And I want to see them win games, but, I know that there's a lot of fans out there that just want the season to be over.
I mean, I wanted the season over last night after that loss. I mean, and when it ends, I think that I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to piss and moan about it, but at the end of the day, obviously you want to win,
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. It's one of those things too where there used to be a time, we went from a time where it was like, is Syracuse, like it wasn't a question of is Syracuse going to make the NCAA tournament when we were growing up, it was going to be what seed are they going to be, right? And now, I mean, sadly to say, after the last 5 years or whatever, I've gotten used to watching the NCAA tournament without Syracuse in it, and it was a hard transition at first, but I think now I'm finally there. I can still enjoy the NCAA tournament without Syracuse. Before it was like I enjoyed it because Syracuse was in it, but then all the rooting for the Cinderellas and stuff. Now,
I was just gonna say I'm one of those people who's like I'm not gonna freaking watch it. Syracuse ain't in it again. Or back in the day when Syracuse wasn't in it, when you're like, oh, they're not in it, I'm not gonna watch it. It was a little bit easier, but now you're like, if I would have committed to that, this would be 5 years straight without watching the tournament. And I don't think I'd be able to do that. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna watch the tournament. I mean, it is because I have a routine, and ever since I've been out of the field and working in the elements, and I have I guess you still can with the phones and things these days, but it's a little bit different when you do have an opportunity to just sit at a desk for a little bit and have a basketball game on. It's night and day. So that is a little bit of a routine that I do enjoy this time of year, and it's special because it's the only time of year to do it. And, that first Thursday and Friday where you just have games from noon to midnight. You're cheering for all the Cinderellas and all, that's always going to be fun for me regardless. I'm always going to cheer for the damn 16 to beat the 1 and just all those games and just how good they are. A lot of times it's just something that I'm always going to watch. Yeah, and I mean if you say you're not, you're full of it. Because I guarantee you will. And it's like the people who say, I hope Syracuse loses, but then they still get upset when they're losing. I know people like that. I haven't gotten, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know people like that. And then they're like, see, this is why I want them to lose. Because they suck. Well, why are you so mad then? If you want them to lose, you should be happy.
It's just them, they're just working through it, Sean. They're just working through it.
I know, and I totally understand it because we work through it every day.
Yeah. And it's one of those things again. But you said like even back in the day, if they didn't make it, they made the NIT, right? Or it was like, well, we'll be back next year.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about that. Is that like? I mean, that's a good point. Like that's just not a possibility. Like the NIT, we're even like not even close to that, huh?
I don't think so. No,
that's where we're at in life.
That's where we're at. And maybe if it's back in the
that's sad. That makes me more sad.
So look, the thing is that when they changed it, like it used to be a situation where NCAA you got your teams and then NIT they just take the next best 32. But now they have a rule to where if you are in a small conference and you win your conference like regular season and you're like the number 1 seed going into your conference tournament, and if you don't win your conference tournament, if you get upset and you don't make the NCAA tournament, then you automatically get a bid into the NIT. So now we're living in a day where you got like 8 to 10, 12 teams that
it's just getting clogged up.
Yeah, because they won their regular season, but they didn't win their conference tournament. Now they get an invitation to the NIT. So they're not really getting the best 32 teams afterwards.
Mark my words. I don't know when. I don't have a timeline for it. But soon. A couple years, 5 maybe, something like that. 5-ish. The NIT, maybe even called something else, but will be a serious second-tier tournament. A serious one. It will gain, yes, it will. It will gain popularity. Kind of, based off of things that I've just analyzed and said before, though.
Oh.
Well, I think that, unfortunately, I feel like there's going to be a breakaway. And I don't think for our sake, or Syracuse's sake, that is necessarily going to be a good thing. And I think that anytime there's a way to capitalize on something, whether it be positive or negative, someone will. And I think it's a good way to at least bring the NIT back into relevancy with good teams, which is kind of what they're doing. But I'm saying it won't just always be a slap in the face, because it's going to get to a point where I think this is going to become extremely hard to get in. Extremely hard to get in. And I feel like Syracuse is going to have a rough go at it. And I think we all need to come to terms with the fact that if we want a postseason, the NIT or whatever it may be is going to be it. And it will not be just full of scrubs. It's going to be a decent tournament, and it's going to actually mean something.
Okay.
I mean, it used to.
Yeah.
The NIT was not, we as Syracuse fans, we thought it was a scrub tournament because we never had to worry about it. Right?
Yeah, back in the day, they were looked at as equals.
Right. The NIT was the actual tournament.
Well, there was 2.
Right. But I mean,
the argument was always you never got who's better, right? Because you got to pick, you got to choose, and you never had just one tournament with all the best teams.
Right. And this isn't gonna be like that. But I think that with the way things are going, I think there is going to be. You remember? Well, when I was like the A League and the B League, I don't know what to tell you, right? So that's going to happen. And I always thought it would happen with football, but I think that it happens with both. But at the level for basketball would be the end of the year. It doesn't mean that Syracuse or these other teams won't ever make another tournament or anything like that. Like, obviously the opportunity is still going to be there and you want to make that tournament, but they're going to make this tournament. They're going to be able to capitalize on this tournament where there's going to be enough fan base and things for a second tier tournament to mean something. And I mean, maybe they have to do it after, maybe it's April Madness. Or actually, it's already April Madness, really, if you think about it.
Well, I mean, if you make it about money, then I'm sure they will come.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's got to be someone out there that looks at the NIT and is like, look, we can do something with this.
Yeah.
The problem is the participation. So you've got all these athletes that don't want to get injured or anything like that, and it's kind of like bowl games.
Right. Yep.
Put it this way, I think the NIT becomes more relevant in a shorter period of time than bowl games do.
Probably.
Because, I mean, bowl games are and think about all the money that's involved with those.
Yeah.
You know, if you took that money as an investor into college athletics and you put it towards another basketball tournament, I mean, who doesn't love a good basketball tournament? They've been able to create a basketball tournament in the middle of the summer that people pay attention to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
If there's money involved.
Right. Who wants, like, at the end of the day?
There's no incentive for teams to play in the NIT right now.
Right. So you have to bring the incentive, and the incentive is money. Mm-hmm. And when you have if someone has the capital to make money, you got to spend some to make some. But if someone's got if a conglomerate comes together, look at all of the money that's in bowl games. How many corporations are investing millions of dollars in bowl games for no one to watch? No one's even showing up at these things. Basketball is different. People will show up.
Yeah.
If you have a serious tournament with serious funds and serious rewards in prizes, purses, or whatever you want to call it, I'm telling you, people will show up, especially if they're like guys who are, let's just use Syracuse as an example because they're our team, right? Take a Syracuse, like, okay, you know what? You try hard, you get things organized. Let's say they get things organized. They get a good coach. They try hard. You know, it's difficult with where they're at and monetarily in the system at the moment. And over time, they're working hard, obviously trying to make the NCAA tournament, and they've settled a couple of times for this NIT tournament, and they actually do pretty good, and it brings recruits, and who knows, dude, like that could be used as another recruiting tool. Like, hey, man, they're actually building something, and I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities. There's way more opportunities in college basketball than there is with football, and I mean, just look what happened to the Pro Bowl. I mean, it's another example of like a postseason thing that used to be a big deal. I mean, like I used to watch the Pro Bowl. It was fun. It was still a game. Now it's just
I don't watch that shit anymore.
No kidding. No, it's just right. So no one's really watching bowl games, dude. We got the college football playoffs. No one's watching these bowl games. No one's even hardly going to them.
Did you see how many people went to the Tourney the Tiger Bowl?
No, I didn't. Yeah, you know why?
Because you didn't watch it.
Because I didn't watch it. But I'm just saying, I mean, these corporations could put good money. They could put good money into something that they could actually revive and make special again.
Well, and again, it's never going to be as good as going to the NCAA tournament, right? But if there was a situation where there was like some type of monetary, like NIL value, plus maybe the players get some of that, right?
There has to be prizes per team, like the basketball tournament.
Right. It has to be something like that where you can get, the players can get a little bit of money, and then the school can get a little bit of money for NIL. Would be the only real reason. If that was the case, like even this year, like for instance, I'm still going to watch it because it's Syracuse, right? But if Syracuse did make the NIT, like I'm not.
There's nothing in it.
It's going to be like meh.
It's nothing in it for some of those players, but if you just remodel this whole thing based on what you said, like purses for the team and then money, NIL money for the school,
right?
You're talking about, it's not a failed season to make the NIT, man. We can actually do something with this,
right? And that was my whole point, because you get to the Final Four, you're playing in Madison Square Garden, right? So that's part of it. I mean, you have some of these schools where, I mean, if you're the higher seed, you get the home game, right? So that's another benefit, right? You get more home games. But the problem is, if there's no incentive, and then again, like if we made the NIT and we had a home game, you saw our attendance this year. How many people are really going to go to that game? It would probably cost more to turn the dome on and pay people to work there than the money that they would make. Versus if there was an incentive, then as a fan, you'd be like, oh, well, we can get NIL money. We can, like, us going there can actually make it to where it benefits our school. then you might have a little bit of a better chance to, get an outcome. Or you change it to where it's just like the NCAA tournament, where everything, you just have like a site where everybody plays and people don't have home games and away games and things of that nature. You just have
You could do that.
the neutral court kind of thing.
I kind of like the bracket breakdown of cities myself.
Right. So, don't make it about having to have a home game, right? So, again, you got to give incentive for the team and the players to actually want to play in it. And then there's got to be an incentive for the fans to make it worth them opening up their gym. Because I can't imagine it's cheap to, run a basketball game at Syracuse.
No, I'm
Plus,
sure it's
on top
not
of that,
cheap, but you're selling tickets.
And it interrupts other things too, right? Like as you're doing the lacrosse schedule and the field hockey schedule and the women's lacrosse schedule and the softball schedule, you're not thinking about, maybe we're playing an NIT game in the middle of March, right?
Right. And
so there's scheduling conflicts and things of that nature. So, give fans an incentive to go visit a city, watch their team play, and cheer for them to win a little bit of money and maybe help get that big transfer or that big recruit next year, right? Versus, it's the NIT.
Right. You could make it sexy again. Make the NIT sexy again.
You could.
It would be something for teams like Syracuse to really be able to build over time, build a better program.
Yeah. I feel like you came up with this idea though, because you have the same question that I had in my head. This is why I brought it up in the first place.
Which was?
When is Syracuse going to make the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, well, so you're partially right. You're partially right, but it's not just the question that I came up with that you also had. It's the answer that I came up with. That's what made me think of that. And I've thought about similar things with football, but it just dawned on me. Honestly, it just dawned on me as soon as I said it. It just dawned on me. Like, there is an avenue here for an opportunity to really do something else a little bit special, because we're just not close. We're just not.
Right. So that's where I thought it was coming from. So I just wanted to.
I was
thinking the same
subconsciously.
Thing.
Yeah.
Well, because you think about, you see where we're at, and you see if things don't change or if we can't catch up. Selfishly, we're thinking, well, how can we make this more entertaining for us? How can we make this better for us? Because I don't know.
We started
going to make the tournament.
We started talking about how much we love watching college basketball, regardless if our team's in it. And here we are 5 years later, and we've been doing it, and it doesn't seem to bother us. Of course, it stings at first, but you're in a situation where you want to be able to watch your team, and there is another tournament that we've just forgotten about.
Right. Well, it's become irrelevant. So
exactly.
And this is almost like this is like a cry for relevancy, Sean.
This is.
It's a cry for relevancy. That's how far we've fallen.
And
because I've resorted myself to sitting here and having to, when an NCAA tournament comes, cheer for our because I always cheer for the conference so that it makes us look good.
There's only one team I won't cheer for.
I understand that, and I know who that is. But I'm just saying, nonetheless, we're sitting here,
making shit up.
We're cheering against we hate these teams in the regular season. Oh, we want to kick Duke's ass. This, and that. And then
we always want to see them do decent in the tournament for sure, because it's our conference, and there is pride there for a fan to be proud of your conference.
Well, they're proud of your conference, yes, but also too, the better your conference looks, then the better it looks
when you get your ass kicked all the time.
Well, for recruits and transfers and things of that nature too.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
there's also that portion of it, right? Right. Big East doesn't look so hot right now,
Right, and let's not play that game. Or we should go back to Big East. No, it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible
idea. At this
point
point, it is.
Yeah, I think it was always a terrible idea, and I always backed the idea of going from the Big East to the ACC. I feel like it just didn't, as far as prominence prominence and what's the word I'm looking for? Relevancy. It hasn't been favorable,
Right.
but it wasn't terrible at the beginning.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
But they've fallen down too. So.
Right. So, all right.
But
well,
again, that's NIL. It just proves it because they don't have football teams, right? So they don't get as much revenue. They don't get as much money to pay players, and everything's basketball. But we'll see, man.
Yeah.
Tuesday, 4:30.
Tuesday, 4:30. We'll know the fate by 6:30.
Yeah, we will. Maybe earlier.
And Tuesday also is supposed to be, maybe earlier. Tuesday is also supposed to be, obviously, there's a rumor of, or speculation or whatever you want to call it for the new AD announcement. So
it's ironic timing.
Yeah, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that. But we'll see if this thing can get turned around. Obviously, we'll be back here at least one more time. And before we take a little break and then come back with any relevant news thereafter between football. But for today, that's going to do it for us. Look, I know it's dreadful. I know it's frustrating. I know it's been not the best year for fans and frustrating and disappointed. But hey, you never know. Anything can happen. To see what happens in this tournament. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out. And by anything can happen. I mean, like, anything can happen, technically.
You're right.